welcome to another episode. So today I'm sharing with you the things that I wish I knew before moving to Italy. Now this isn't a video about the mistakes that I made when I moved to Italy. I've already recorded a video about that. I'm going to link it above. This is more about the things that I wish I had known before I moved here, like a reflective sort of video. So let's get into it, shall we? So the first thing that I wish I knew before moving to Italy was that it would be difficult to maintain some of my cultural traditions. Now, of course, there is a little bit of magic as well in that when you move to a new country, you have the opportunity to learn about that particular country's traditions, culture, festivals, and that can be really special because you open your mind and you experience something new. However, when it comes to your own country's traditions, if they are not celebrated or recognised in the country that you live in, it can feel very strange, particularly if you have a real connection for some of them. So I will give you a very current example. Today, the day of filming this video, it is Armistice Day or Remembrance Day in the UK. And on this day, on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, we commemorate the end of the First World War. And there is a 2-minute silence that is held across the UK at that time. Now, the Sunday that follows Remembrance Day is classed as Remembrance Sunday, and again there is another 2-minute silence which is held at 11 AM on that day. Now, you will find a lot of British people wearing poppies around this time of year, and this is an appeal organised by the British Legion known as the Poppy Appeal, and it has been running for many years, and all the money goes into projects and facilities to help veterans, and wearing the poppy is a sign of respect for those that served our country during the war. And you know, this is something that isn't commemorated here in Italy at all, and it feels a bit strange. Like, this is something that I've grown up doing, and now for the past 3 years I haven't commemorated it in the same way. So you know, that's a very current example. But even just a week ago we had the 5th November, which in the UK is known as Bonfire Night or Guy Fawkes Day. And traditionally, before COVID especially, there would be firework displays all across the country on that day, and as well as in some villages, torchlit processions. It was a real occasion, and it sort of marked, if you like, the countdown to Christmas from that day. So you know, these are things that aren't recognised or celebrated here in Italy, so it feels a little strange at times, I'm not going to lie. And also, even looking ahead to Christmas, like, we have some traditional food that we have in the UK at Christmas time which isn't available here in Italy at all. I'm especially referring to mince pies, which are my all-time Christmas favourite, but you cannot buy them here in Italy for love nor money. So I've resorted to making my own. Last year I baked my very first batch of mince pies, and they were actually delicious. I used a fabulous recipe from Mary Berry, the queen of cooking in the UK, and I am going to be replicating that recipe again this year because they were so good. But you know, it's those little things, like, I miss mince pies, so you know, I do choose to recreate them here. But when you can't purchase certain food, or you can't do the things that you would normally do when it comes to particular moments in the year, it can feel quite challenging. So that is why I wish I had known about this before moving here, because sometimes you just don't realise, you know, what you've grown up doing all your life in terms of a tradition or a cultural act isn't necessarily recognised in other parts of the world. So definitely something that I wish I knew before moving to Italy. The second thing that I wish I knew before moving to Italy is, of course, you know exactly what I'm going to say, just how much not knowing the language would impact my life. Now, I have recorded a number of videos about this because it has been the biggest sticking point in my journey here in Italy. Now, I have recently recorded a vlog video, which I'm going to link up here, where I am starting a series called British Beginner to Italian Winner. And I am going to take you on my language learning journey with weekly insights into my progress, what I'm doing, the resources I'm using, my experiences. And I feel like this is going to help me a lot in terms of learning the language because I have some form of accountability. So, you know, if you don't already subscribe to my channel, now's the perfect moment to do so you don't miss all these amazing videos. But yes, so, you know, the language is a big deal, and, you know, without repeating myself, because I've spoken about this a lot in many other videos, it impacts every single area of your life, especially if you have been working hard all day and you come home and you just want to zone out, switch on the television and relax. Yet it's not so easy to do that, because if you don't have the opportunity to put what you're watching into subtitles, your brain doesn't ever really relax, because it's still always trying to work out what is being said and trying to understand what is going on around you. So, you never really fully get to relax and zone out. And, I miss sometimes the ability for people to fully understand what I say, because, us Brits, we have a certain type of humour as well. I like to think we have like a dry humour, we are very sarcastic. Yes, this is true, but sometimes it isn't understood and it doesn't translate well when you try to express that same sense of humour in Italian. So it can be challenging for sure. But I will say one thing about the language. I wish I knew that it doesn't guarantee friendships as well, because I have recorded a video about what it's really like to make friends in Italy. I'm going to link it up here because it isn't easy. And I kind of wish, I guess this is another reason actually, let's do this. The next thing I wish I knew before moving to Italy was that it isn't easy to make friends. And of course that stems into the language on the one hand, because you need to be able to communicate with people to form a connection and bond. But also on the other hand, it's a cultural thing. Italians tend to have a very close-knit circle of friends who they have known since they were at school often. And, it's very difficult to break into that circle. And I hear a lot of expats sharing the same experience in different parts of Italy. Whereas in the UK, friendships are very different. I wish I knew that before coming here, because you think, oh, I can meet new people, I can create a new life for myself. And yes, you can, but you won't necessarily have that deep bond and connection that you would have perhaps if you were living in your own country, because friendships are different and connections with people here are very different as well. And Italy works very much on who you know, not necessarily on what you know. So if you come here by yourself, for example, you have more work to do to really establish yourself and build that trust and rapport with people. So that's just something that I wish I knew before moving here. I also wish I knew just how close-knit the families are here in Italy. And I tell you why I wish I knew this, because of course it's a very beautiful thing. The family dynamics in the UK especially are very different. Families don't tend to live on top of one another, and they certainly don't tend to be necessarily as close in terms of seeing each other every day, or telephoning each other every day, or even living all together until very late in life. I feel like the dynamics are more varied in the UK when it comes to family situations. But I tell you why I wish I knew about this, because if you move to Italy by yourself, this is the first thing that hits you, gives you a big slap around the face on a Sunday afternoon when all the families gather together, on festival and holiday days when all the families are together. Trust me, that is when you feel it, because it suddenly becomes all too apparent that you are here by yourself and you don't have any family to spend those special moments with. So I wish I knew just how tight-knit the family dynamics were here, because it would definitely have prepared me a little bit for that and not made those initial moments feel quite as lonely. And the last thing that I wish I knew before moving to Italy is just how challenging it would be to date an Italian. Of course I love my boyfriend very much, this is not a criticism of him at all, but I have to be honest, dating somebody from another culture is challenging. You have language to overcome, yes, that's one thing, but also a different mindset, a different belief system, a different outlook on life, different experiences, vastly different experiences, because I feel that some Italians have lived quite closed lives compared to people from the UK, for example, in terms of being the same age and what you have achieved in that time. But it's opening yourself up and really having to take a deep dive into your beliefs, into who you are as a person. Oh, it's a challenge, but it's a really good challenge. And I wish I knew that it would be a good challenge from the beginning, because when you date an Italian, this of course isn't every Italian, disclaimer, just my own experience, you see things from a different perspective. They have a very different set of beliefs to use a lot of the time, and a different outlook on life, and obviously they've had a different upbringing because of the cultural differences. But it's not necessarily a negative, and I wish I knew that, because at the beginning I had some arguments with my boyfriend because we were just very different in terms of, you know, our upbringing and our experiences. But actually now I realise that I've learned so much through those moments that actually it was a blessing. And so I wish I knew that yes, it would be challenging, but also there would be a blessing contained within that challenge, and it would help me to become a better person and to ultimately grow from that experience. So yes, these are some things that I wish I knew before moving to Italy. If you like this video, I think you'll love this one up here as well, where I also talk about what people will tell you if you say that you are moving to Italy, because trust me, it is like a broken record. They say the same things. This is what you need to watch. See you in the next video.